Good morning, YouTube. How are you? I'm up at 5:30 a.m. Not my normal schedule. Couldn't sleep. Got up. Got coffee. And ready to discuss about things you don't think about while you're building a model railroad. So there's, so much that we've already discussed about scale and place and DC, DCC and power supplies and the track and blah, 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 scenery. It goes on and on and on. So let's start with this idea. When you are building, what you are building is temporary. Keep that in mind. I don't mean temporary that you're just going to build it and throw it away. Things will change. And I encourage you again, start today. Build a table that will fit the space you have. Get some roadbed, get some track, trains, cars, power pack, whatever you need, and get a track plan done. Doesn't have to be perfect. That's why you're doing this. It's what you think is perfect may not be. Okay, so there's a lot of changes that can happen. Like with my layout, at some point in the future, it's going to be finished, but it's not permanent. It's not uncommon for people in this hobby to build a whole big layout, start running trains on it, and not be happy with some portion of it. And they may do a small rebuild of an area, or maybe a large rebuild of an area. Or I've actually seen people take a chainsaw to their layout and throw it away in the dumpster. That's a lot of money. And blood, sweat, and tears to throw in the dumpster. So why am I talking about that? Well, make your layout quasi-portable so that, especially if you're younger, you're probably going to move at least once. I have lost track of how many times I have moved. This is the last one. I ain't going nowhere else. This is it. So, I back in the 80s, I built a L-shaped layout. I didn't have a lot of room, but it was cool. 2 tables, had a roundhouse on it and all that. When the 2 tables come together, the track was cut so that you just put it back together. Just that little tiny bit is not going to affect as long as you're powering both sides, right? And worked great. And that particular layout, I moved 5 times. 5. Across the country and back. And, I got it to where, the buildings come off. The tables were easy to take apart, the legs off of them. Lightweight tables. And it took a beating, but it stayed with me. So about 20 years ago. So the idea that it needs to be lightweight. Now, I am not a 2x4 hater. I have 2x4s, but not to build a table for a layout. use smaller dimensions that are just as strong for what you're building, and make it so that you could move it without a bunch of damage. Like I said, the tables where the tracks come together, just put it right up to the edge. They'll touch, or maybe there'll be a small gap there, and it'll be fine. It'll be fine. It still works. But you can then move around, build onto it, and make sure everything can be taken out the door of the room that you're in, the front door. Um, my layout is built like that. I mean, I just said that I'm going to be here forever, the rest of my life. I'm 67. I'm closer to death than birth. Okay, and I hope that when I'm done with this layout, that maybe one of the grandkids want it. That'd be great. But it's got to be able to be taken down and put back together again. If they don't want it, it can be sold. And there's a lot of people out there who will buy it. And so that can be sold, and someone else can enjoy what you've started. And they'll make changes to it. But to build it in such a way with like big 2x4s, and you're not building tables, you just keep putting 2x4s here, coming off of that, board over there, and going around. I have seen people take a chainsaw, because it's about the only way they could get it out of the building that it's in. And that's a lot of damage, even if you're trying to salvage it. And like I said, I'm more than one person. I've seen people just throw it in the dumpster. Not doing that. Okay. So right now I am in the process of getting my degree, my PhD degree, from the University of Hard Knocks. I'm tearing up track right now. In fact, I've tore not all of the track, but what needs to be replaced. My plan looked good on paper, looked good in my head. One thing I did when I got the first table built and the track laid, I wanted to run trains and see how it worked. And it worked fine. Doing switching is fine. Pretty much everything fine. But as I'm coming around to the next table on the curve, I would have 3 tracks, 3 train bridges, and 1 highway bridge crossing a creek that I'm just making. And took a look at that and said, that's stupid, man. Number one, you can't see the creek. Why even put it in there? You wouldn't even have to have the bridges. But 2, it was going to be a very congested area that didn't need to be. So it's going to change my layout going forward beyond even this next table. But I'm rethinking those things and really learning what I really want in every step of the way. So I've taken out the track. I have to replace 2 turnouts that I damaged. I had put them down. They were 30-year-old turnouts, so it's not a big loss, but put them down, had to move them, and during the moving process, I managed to damage both of them with my Dremel with a metal cutting disc on the end, going around when my hand wasn't on it. And it's not catastrophic damage, but it does cause derailing on some cars every once in a while, and the other layout turnouts don't do that. So bought 2 new ones. Like them better anyway. I'll save those 2 in case I need them. And I've got a curved layout turnout that is in the curve, and so the 2 tracks that come along the back will join into one, go across one bridge, and then there's probably going to be a turnout between the bridge and the mountain to service some new companies that I haven't even thought of yet. But it'll work. But I got to get it done. So it's a learning curve. You know, the first time when I moved those turnouts, it was like scary, and I hated it. This time I'm actually liking it. Everything is going along to this point pretty calm. Not bad at all. So I'll show you when I get this thing done what it looks like. But it also frees up some space on the first table, just for scenery. I mean, like putting a house there or something. So it's all good. The track, I save it. I'm going to have a yard, and I could probably use it in the yard, maybe. So, I don't throw a bunch of stuff away. I'm just born that way. But you just think of it as portable, and it's temporary, and it kind of takes a burden off you, because everything doesn't have to be perfect. You can fix these things. It's not going to, kill you to say, I don't think I like this. Yeah, it's not working like I thought. I'm going to change it. You're going to do stuff like that, and it's the greatest learning experience. So start now, start often, and tell you what, it doesn't have to be cut by chainsaw. Just please don't let that happen. That's like the worst thing. It's like a car wreck, man. It's just, you just don't want to see that happen. But I'll show you what I do have done. Here's the creek, and this is where I was learning my lesson on this. There's another picture from a different angle. See the 2 tracks back there. And here's the 3 bridges. And here's the 3 bridges from a better angle. So there's a little bit more space between the bridges. You'll be actually able to see the creek. And then here is the 2 tracks that come around that we're going to join into this other table. And then this is what it looks like right now. You can see I've got the curved turnout sitting on that track on the right, and I've just pulled the roadbed and the track all up, because that's not going to have a track, and the 2 will join right at that curved layout. And then here is where the 2 turnouts that I'm replacing. So I've already wired the frog for those, and they're ready to place. Now, the first time I took these out, it was a nightmare. But I learned something in the nightmare. Late in the destruction, but you've got rail joiners, and rail joiners only go back so far. And so to lift out like a turnout, what you do is you start lifting up on the rails and have like your finger down on that first tie and just pop that one tie so it's not hooked to the rail. Then you can slide the rail joiner all the way back to where it's flush with the end of the track of the rail on both sides. Take it out, put the new piece in, slide the rail joiners back where they're centered, make sure they're tight, and then you can snap that tie back onto the rail. Don't take a Dremel like I did, the first one. So that's what it looks like now. Thanks for watching. I appreciate everyone who's been pretty faithful watching these videos. Please subscribe. Please give a like. And I'm hoping this this whole mess detained me for a few days this week, but hopefully in a few days I'll show you what's finished there, and the creek will have water in it and all that kind of good stuff in the next couple days. So thanks for watching. See you in the next video. Bye.